So this is episode 25, we're just coming off a Super Bowl loss. So in this one, we've just got to do some cleanup in this week in terms of using these points and then get out of that screen as soon as possible so we can get on with our lives. Before I look at any players, let's pretend this is the order they're going to go in, right, these players. Now obviously need dictates the order as well, but I think the first guy we could get is Lance Sitter. Gabriel Bidwell is going to one of those other 4 teams, I think. 3 teams maybe ahead of us that will take a quarterback. Tennessee won't. Maybe Philadelphia won't. I'm not sure how they'll treat Carson Wentz in the game. But outside of that, the next guy is at number 9. And then at number 12, and we already have another pick at 12. And how are there 2 quarterbacks, 2 first-round quarterbacks coming out of Oregon? But anyway, that's irrelevant. I think positions-wise, probably should do some more. Let's see, wide receivers, really not getting anything out of these guys. Let's take a look at this first rounder and the third rounder and this 5th rounder. There we go. Points used up, we've got 1 point left. Let's get out of this week quickly. So in our first week, we've got players to re-sign and nothing else, so let's take a look at who these people are. Derek Milner, who I did forget we just signed as a free agent. But let's see, Marquise Goodwin, we do want him back. Aaron Weatherington, I'm not too worried about, I think we'll let him walk. Jason DeMonge, no thanks. Trey Hopkins, no. Kenyon Drake was good for us, we don't need it. Antoine Wall, I like, but I think I'm happy to let go. All of these guys, Sherman Can, I mean, we can go find him again if we need him. We'll keep Aaron Murray, we'll re-sign him. Can and Bray, I never used, they're just good on the goal line defense. Zach Perman will bring back. Nigel Holloway can walk, Jarvis Jenkins can go, and Ray Waddle, I did like, but no one else is going to pick him up, so we'll float him because no one is signing him. So we'll go back to the front and do it in proper order. So we're starting to pay some big money for guys now, really, as in 3.8 million, that's about as much as we've offered anyone for 2 years. That's exactly the offer you were hoping to get, what a coincidence. I mean, we are taking another quarterback, but I'm pretty sure the bonuses are tiny, dead cap won't be a problem here. Returning from injuries, DJ Foster, he can play in our off-season bowl. Sign free agents, we're not going to be signing free agents, definitely not this year. So we're in stage 1 of the free agency. I'm saying it like this because I don't remember what I said up to this point. It could have been anything, so let's hope this makes sense. And one thing I want to do is quickly look at all the players that have retired. Some big names going out. Antonio Gates, Julius Peppers, Terrell Suggs, Larry Fitzgerald, Jason Witten, Brandon Marshall, D'Angelo Hall, Vernon Davis. A bunch of guys leaving there. And it even says Jason Witten had to retire due to a career-ending injury after 15 years in the NFL. So, doesn't really affect us in any way. None of those guys are divisional players. And now I'm not going to show you the free agents because I will show you who ended up going to what teams. But basically, there's some free agents I was very, very tempted to sign. I even wanted to set up a poll. Basically, 2 players I was going to give the option. Either we take them or we don't. What I've decided to do, because this year we still have so many draft picks, after next season, I don't know how far this is going to go on, but after next season, we'll be able to sign free agents. The way it would work is that we can only sign someone who's coming off their rookie contract. So this year it would be people from the 2014 NFL draft. Next year it would be 2015 NFL draft, and that would be theoretically, obviously you don't know if they re-sign or not, that could be Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, Amari Cooper, Todd Gurley, Marcus Peters, all those kinds of players we could then sign, because after that point we'll only have the basic 7 draft picks that everybody else has got. This year we've got so many, I think signing free agents kind of takes away from the point of that, although there were 2 guys I was pretty interested in getting. One of them not finishing their rookie contract, but such a big name that I really was considering it, but not going to do that. So free agency again this year is nothing, but remember we've got like 25 draft picks. We don't need free agents. So the draft isn't going to be in this episode. That's 100% for sure because I want to do a longer one. We've got that many draft picks, I need an entire episode just for that anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to view the free agency recap to finish off this episode, and I'll show you. Well, let's see who's left. DeMarcus Ware, nobody wanted, the poor guy. So out of the guys that is left, not really anybody that exciting. Anyway, we don't need any of these, we don't want any of these, but let's see the league signings. Sammy Watkins was a free agent, went back to the Bills. Jarvis Landry went to the Bills. They've now got Jarvis Landry and Sammy Watkins. Drew Brees, may he rest in perfect memory of our team, was with the 49ers, that's who we traded him to, and he's gone back to the 49ers. Mike Evans has gone over to the Jets. Adrian Peterson has joined the Bills. The Bills suddenly have like the best looking offense in the NFL. The Vikings have had to settle with Jonathan Stewart as a replacement for Peterson, and although Stewart's not bad, it's definitely a whole different kind of player right there. Hill went to the Jets, so they've got Jeremy Hill and Mike Evans. Jimmy Garoppolo has gone to the Baltimore Ravens, which is, you know, I don't think they'll use him as a starter, but then again, they didn't pay him that little. I mean, Zach Brown went to the Chiefs, I don't know, that's it for players, but the Bills cleaned up in free agency. They've got a nice looking squad right there. The Bills have Tyrod Taylor at quarterback still, Adrian Peterson and LaShawn McCoy at running back, Sammy Watkins, Jarvis Landry, some 78 overall drafted guy. This team is crazy. And that is it for the off-season. No, it's not. That's not it for the off-season. I thought it was it for the off-season. We are going to finally look at the season's stats. That was the whole point of doing another episode for the off-season. So here's what it ended up with. The quarterback, Christian Hackenberg, who just fell out of favour with me personally more than anything. He did start throwing balls around a little bit widely, but that's what everybody else does anyway, so it's not like it really was his fault, but these guys were never the long-term answer. We will be drafting a quarterback, we will be drafting one early. Zach Pearman was fun, but let's try and find someone that runs like Zach Pearman but can throw it like Hackenberg and Murray. That might have all been slightly quiet right there. I had the microphone slightly further away than I wanted, so all of that before, I'm not sure about, obviously now it's better. Keith Marshall finished the year with 1,122 yards. Now, I didn't play that many games, that's why. 15 touchdowns. Zach Pearman, 383, 2 touchdowns, and then nobody else really did much. Receiving, Brandon Coleman managed to get over 1,000 yards, also led the team in receptions. Malcolm Mitchell, 684 on 52, 6 touchdowns, 8 for Coleman. And what I'm actually going to do is, as much as I want to go through all these, I'm just going to show them and not say the numbers out loud every time. It's the same as last year, actually. That's the safeties carrying the team with tackles. Kevin Pierre-Louis probably would have got over 100 had he not missed some games. Jameson Nickerson finished the season with 2 interceptions, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 68 total tackles. That's not bad at all. They didn't test him too much, although he wasn't perfect, but he was very good. Darren Stanley finished with 4 interceptions as well, so that's nice from the rookies. Trey Flowers finished with 13 sacks. Scooby Wright, 4 sacks, 1 interception. Dion Jordan, 22 sacks on the year. Our resident blitz specialist Joshua Perry, 18 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. Kyler Fackrell, who was always in the backfield, 18 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. Ekpre Olumu finished with 4 interceptions as well, tied for the team lead. David Onyemata, 3.5 sacks, Devon still 2.5, so, I mean, that's not bad. And David Onyemata had 14 tackles for loss, but maybe still look for a defensive tackle in the draft. And D. Milliner, in his new slot position, had 3 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, 2 interceptions. Forced fumbles, Trey Flowers had 2, Dion Jordan had 2, Joshua Perry had 2, Kyler Fackrell had 2, and then 1 for Stanley, Milner, Pierre-Louis, Nickerson and Devon Still. Safeties, Joshua Perry ended the season with 2 safeties, Dion Jordan ended it with 1. In defensive touchdowns, Dion Jordan had 1, Kyler Fackrell had 1, and Scooby Wright had 1. Excellent. Brennan Thomason, our kicker, made no field goals, had no field goal attempts, absolutely no extra points, which, you know, seems to be slightly different to what my memory was of him kicking field goals, but Madden says he didn't do anything, so that's fair enough. Actually, that might explain why a guy who kicked a 61-yard field goal and a whole bunch of 50s didn't even make like the top 20 list or whatever it is of the best kickers. There's just no stats, that's it, they just completely ignored it. Punting, they've got stats for. Kicks, never happened. So kick returns, we didn't do too much on. I mean, Marquise Goodwin's an average of 26.4 isn't that bad at all, but it's punt returns where he really shined. 3 touchdowns on the season, a long of 91. He really was a revelation there this season. And that brings us back around to the top, and that are all the stats, and that's it for this episode. So this episode wasn't meant to be, and I don't think it was just like a filler episode or anything. I wanted to do one for the off-season, look at the stats, things like that, and that's what I've done. But obviously the draft is the big part. I'm now going to, now that we have all the information, I'm going to create a full draft board as to the best detail that I can, and then whilst we actually go through this draft, considering how many early round picks we'll have, we'll go through it pick by pick, and then every time one of the guys we've got on the list, we'll mark him off to what team he goes. Should make it a little more interesting to follow as well, and that way it'll take a little bit more time, but I don't mind that, and I'll see you for that episode.